I'm currently sitting in the Ritz-Carlton in Almaty, Kazakhstan. I also have an apartment across town that I'm paying for with more than 2 weeks left on that lease. I could have just stayed in that apartment. The reason I'm here is that I have a certificate from my Marriott credit card that was about to expire. 35,000 points worth of free night with no upcoming destination on the calendar where it made sense to use it. And for a full-time nomad, that's saying something. So I did the math on a staycation and the math worked. I want to walk through how I think about expiring certificates, including the parts I get wrong and what 35,000 points plus a nominal top-up actually got me at a property that books for over $700 a night cash. I've been doing the points and miles thing for well over a decade. I got into it back in 2011, so I have certificates coming and going on a regular basis. Some Marriott credit cards issue these, so do Hilton, Hyatt, and IHG. The annual free night that lands every year as a card benefit comes with an expiration date, usually a year from when it's issued, and it's easy to let one expire without realizing it. I'll say this up front. I should have used the certificate earlier in the year. Sometime over the past 12 months, I paid cash for a hotel night somewhere. I could have used the cert instead. The downside of being deep in the travel rewards space is that you're always saying, I can use it better, and then sometimes the calendar runs out and you didn't. Between Kevin and me, we're holding more than a few of these certs at any given time. It's a constant attention game. We don't always win it. So the stay I'm about to walk through isn't the optimal play. The optimal play would have been using the cert months ago. This is the recovery move. So let me show you what the recovery move actually looks like in practice. We packed up at the apartment. We still have more than 2 weeks left on the lease there. This is genuinely a side trip across town. Bag over the shoulder, elevator down, 10-minute taxi ride to the hotel. Before we even checked in, Marriott emailed asking if there were any special occasions during our stay. This is fairly common. It's a tip worth knowing. When they ask, have something real ready. In our case, Kevin and I met about 5 years ago, so I mentioned that. They sent up a bottle of wine and a cake to the room. The cost to the hotel is negligible, and the cost to me of mentioning it was zero. And to be clear, the tip isn't to invent a special occasion. It's to think about what's actually true in your life right now and say it when they ask. This is the kind of property you don't normally book on a 35,000 point certificate. The view. This is the tallest building in Almaty. The epic water pressure in the shower. And the comfy chairs. The gym is a real gym. Kevin took advantage of it both the day we arrived and is going again today. There's a pretty nice indoor pool. Real upgrade from no pool at the apartment. Marriott Platinum status normally doesn't get you breakfast included at Ritz-Carlton properties, but they gave it to us here anyway. It could be standard at this hotel, it could be because they weren't busy, or it could be because of the anniversary thing. Doesn't really matter, but it landed. And the breakfast was extensive. Included complimentary champagne, caviar. Genuinely one of the more memorable hotel breakfasts I've had. 4 p.m. late checkout comes with Marriott Platinum status that's tied to one of the Marriott cards I carry, so we have plenty of time to take it slow today on the way out. The hotel also has a spa with massages and a sauna. I'm planning to check out the sauna later today before we leave. Instead of taking a taxi back to our apartment, it's a really nice day today, so we're walking back along the canal. About 45 minutes. And the hotel room setting is also significantly better for recording than our apartment, which is part of why this video and a couple of others are getting filmed right here. The hotel doubling as a work environment for 2 days isn't the main reason for the trip, but it's a real bonus. Now, was this actually a good cert redemption? Let me walk through how I think about it. When a certificate is close to expiring and the optimal use didn't happen, the question becomes, what redemption do I make right now that extracts enough value to justify the year I held the card? The benchmark is the annual fee. The Marriott cards that issue 35K certs charge an annual fee around $100. So, At a minimum, the redemption needs to clear $100 in cash value for the card to have been worth carrying. Anything over that, I'm net positive on the year. The higher the cash rate on the property I redeem at, the more value the cert pulled. One thing worth getting right on the math, because this part has changed. Marriott uses dynamic pricing now. Point costs vary by night based on demand instead of fixed point caps per property tier. A 35K cert covers up to 35,000 points, but you can also top up a certificate with up to 25,000 additional points if the night costs more. Meaning a 35K cert can functionally book a stay up to 60,000 points, with the extra coming from your points balance. The Ritz-Carlton Almaty for the night we're here was running 37,000 points, so my 35K cert plus 2,000 additional points covered it. Cash rates for the room category we booked run consistently over $700 a night during this window. One thing worth clarifying, because people have different definitions here. When I say value, I don't mean the $700 cash rate. I wouldn't have actually paid that, especially when I have an apartment across town. The way I think about value with a cert is what I would have actually paid in the Counter-Factual. For an airport hotel before an early flight, that might be the full cash rate. But for this staycation specifically, the Counter-Factual was the apartment. So the pure cash value is closer to zero. Real value is everything you just saw. If you were expecting a whole framework here, I'm going to skip most of it, because most of the rules around when to redeem a cert apply to normal year redemptions, not specifically to certs about to expire. For an expiring cert specifically, the answer is simpler. Look nearby, your city or somewhere a short trip away. If something looks cool, redeem it. The dollar math matters less when the alternative is the cert expiring with no use. We actually debated taking a trip to another city. We have another 35K Marriott cert that expires later this year, and the St. Regis in Astana would also have been a strong redemption. But Astana is a 2.5-hour flight away, and flights weren't particularly cheap for the dates we were considering. So that cert stays in play for a different trip. That's it. Look nearby, find something cool, redeem. Where it gets more interesting is the broader question of how to use these certs throughout the year so you don't end up at the wire. But that's another conversation for another time. Worth saying clearly, my goal with a free night cert isn't to extract maximum value at any cost. It's to displace a paid hotel night sometime during the year that I'd otherwise be paying cash for. When that doesn't happen, when the cert is 2 weeks from expiring and you didn't use it during the year, the recovery move is the highest value redemption you can pull without inventing too much friction. That's where I am right now. Not the optimal play, the recovery play. Worth doing, but also worth naming how I got here. That's how I think about expiring certs and how I ended up at the Ritz-Carlton Almaty. If you're newer to travel credit cards and you want a simple starting point, the no foreign transaction fee rule, the main transferable point programs, a starter card list, the travel credit cards cheat sheet is linked at the description. Subscribe if you want more on the actual math of travel hacking, not just the wins, but the calls that didn't quite work.